Greeting everyone. Greeting from Boston, Massachusetts, United States. And I want to thank you for the organizer to invite me to speak in this conference. I wish I could be there in person with you all, but perhaps sometimes in the near future. I was in Ukraine in June 2024, meeting many Ukrainians, including physicians, scientists, and community people, young and old. And it was incredibly humbling experiences. I truly admire the courage and resilience of every Ukrainian. Bravo to all of you. I also had the pleasure of working with a few medical students who serve as an interpreter, helping us in a mobile clinic, seeing patients together with us. I appreciate very much with their help, and I enjoy very much spending time with them. And their hunger for knowledge is truly inspirational. While I was preparing for this talk, I decided to share with you my own journey in pursuing science and medicine when I was about your age. So I hope it's helpful. Nothing specific, but it's a general principle. Hope my talk will give you something to think about. So you don't need to make any note. Just sit back and enjoy listening to my story. I don't know why I cannot advance my slide. Can you stop the recording for now? To the second slide.
Okay. I'm recording again. Okay, thanks.
From beginning with? Okay, all right. Okay, hi everyone, greeting from Boston, Massachusetts, United States. I want to thank the organizer inviting me to speak in this conference. I wish I could be there in person, meeting all of you, perhaps sometimes in the future. I was in Ukraine in June 2024, meeting many Ukrainians, including physicians, scientists, and community people, young and old. It was truly a humbling experience. Um, I truly admire the courage and resilience of every Ukrainian. So bravo to all of you. I also had the pleasure meeting few medical students who serve as an interpreter, helping us in mobile clinic, seeing patients. And I truly appreciate their help. I also enjoy very much spending time with them, particularly their hunger for knowledge is truly inspirational. While I was preparing for this talk, I decided to use my own journey pursuing science and medicine when I was about your age. And I hope this helpful uh, for you in building your career in the future. So no need to take notes. Just sit back and relax and enjoy listening to the story. Okay. I was born and raised in Taiwan. I came to United States in 1983. So I received all my advanced education, meaning my PhD, my MD, my residency training, my fellowship training, all in United States. And subsequently, I stayed in the United States as a faculty. I've been in Harvard in the past 25 years. Um, I have held many leadership positions in nationally and international um, organizations. In recent years, I devoted most of my focus in the International Society of Nephrology, ISN. I will encourage every one of you here, all trainee, meaning students, You can join this society for free, and the benefit is you will get many educational access. I'm also the co-founder of this company and the consultant for the other companies, but I want to assure you there's no impact to today's content. Okay, so what am I? I am what people so-called physician scientist, which means I'm a clinician. I see patient and I run it in the hospital. I also teach fellows, residents, and medical students. I am also a scientist or a principal investigator. I do research and also supervise fellows, graduate students, include master degree, PhD students, medical students, college students who come through my lab doing research with me. I am also a administrator, meaning sit on a administrator position. I was a medical director of dialysis center, which I just stepped down last year, 2024, after 13 years. I am the founder of a community outreach organization called the Kidney Disease and Awareness Program, KDSAP. I'll tell you a little bit more about this program later. Okay, I am currently the associate director of Harvard Summer Research Program in kidney medicine. Okay, so there's one very common misconception among young people, and that is majority of people think in order to be a physician scientist, one must be MD and PhD. And in fact, that is not necessarily to be the case. You can be a physician scientist, but you don't need to have both MD and PhD. Okay, I'll leave this just right here. Anybody have more questions? Welcome to ask me later. So after 25 plus years at Harvard Medical School, how do I feel? Feel like a fish in water. I absolutely love my life and love my life being a physician scientist. Okay, so in the next 30 minutes or so, I will tell you the important elements that I believe is important to help you building your career in science and medicine. Okay, so started with how I started my research career. After I graduated from college, I worked as a pharmacist in the evening because my major in college was a pharmacy. So I was thinking, what should I do during the daytime? I need to do something, all right? So I got a job as a research assistant, okay? No, that is not a research technician. It's a one level even below research technician, okay? Working as assistant and at the Department of Biochemistry, National Taiwan University under Dr. Y.C. Lin. And the first day I arrived in his office and he told me, he said, Lily, this is going to be your project. And the project is study the mechanism of betel nut induced oral cancer. And I have to tell you, in my entire university education, no one have taught us how to do research. And at that point, I have never done a single day of research. So I have no idea how to do research, as a matter of fact. So I look at Dr. Lin with a blank face. I was like, huh? What do you mean by that? But he looked at me, he said, that's it. And he said, off you go, okay? So without anybody teach me, I come up with an idea, I say, okay, I need to go to the library. So I end up hiding in the library for 3 days. I read every single paper I could find about betel nut and also any single paper I could find about oral cancers. So after that, I wrote a one-page proposal on how to study betel nut related oral cancer. So the next day, I went back to Dr. Lin's office. I showed him my one-page proposal. I say, this is my proposal on how to approach this project. He took one look, did not say anything. And he said, okay, go to find so-and-so and ask this person to teach you how to do AIMS test. So AIMS test was the very first research experiment I have ever done in my entire life. Okay. And so that moment when I turn around, walking out from Dr. Lin's office, I told myself that if this is the science, then I absolutely love it. Why? Because people actually pay me to use my own imagination to do things that I think it should be done. So what Dr. Lin inspired me, and the gift he given to me, is a sense of independent thinking. This is, I carry this sense of independent thinking from that day until now. Okay. All right. The second example I wanted to share with you is a passion and compassion. After I arrived in United States, I choose to study malaria for my PhD degree. And at one point, someone came to me and say, Lily, why study malaria? Nobody cares in United States. In United States, we don't have malaria. Okay, why you care? Nobody care. And my response to those people was, I do care because it causes the death of millions of children in Africa. Okay, a subject people think that nobody should care, but I do care because it's in Africa, there's millions of children die every year. And as it turned out, my PhD thesis, I discovered two new structures. Okay, and I ended up publishing the paper in Nature on my PhD thesis. And my PhD thesis got the best thesis of the year. So what's the point of this story? The story is passion and compassion give strength and perseverance. So to many of you, may be too early to think about the word career niche, but I wanted to bring this up to you today because I hope in the future, one day, when you have reached a stage that you started to need to think about this in developing a career for yourself. And what is a niche? Niche just means specialty and your expertise. When people think about you, what is your niche? He's an expert in whatever area. Okay, that's a niche. Okay. So in order to develop a niche, you need to have ability to develop hypotheses. By doing so, you need to know how to use rationales. And this can be applied in both research and medicine. Okay. And by doing so, you also should have an ability to able to ask right questions and important questions. And in medicine, this means can help you to develop a differential diagnosis, and which resulted in derived to a final correct diagnosis. And in research is help you to ask the research subject I'm asking is a high impact, meaning will help many people, okay, and low risk, meaning likely to succeed if I do research to approach it this way, or it's a high impact, even though a little bit high risk, or low impact, even though it's a low risk, or low impact and high risk. But you need to ask yourself, this kind of question. I mean, for example, the malaria example. Okay, everybody tell me nobody care, but it's important because if I succeed, many people get benefit, right? So another area you need to think about is, are you able to make others as excited as you are? Okay, just you understand how fun the subject you wanted to do, but you should be also able to convey the importance and the excitement and the fun to other people, that other people able to share with you about how you feel. Okay. And the point here is being passionate about what you do and good at it will make you a happier person. So I'll give you an example. This is a case one. Okay. This is a true story. Mr. H is a kidney transplant recipient. He has failed to return to transplant clinic for regular follow-up. This is not good, right? I mean, he got a precious kidney organ, but he did not come back for follow-up on regular basis. So he has been labeled, by many people as a non-compliant patient. Okay, I hope non-compliant, the term non-compliant, equally the same terminology used in Ukrainian, right? Okay, so now that I am taking over this patient, the care of this patient, so I asked my staff in the clinic about this patient's non-compliant. I said, what do you mean he is non-compliant? Tell me more specific about how did it happen? And so the staff tell me, say, he always came and signed in, then left and never returned. Anything wrong with this statement? Anybody can detect, this statement in anything wrong? Say he always came and signed in and left, never returned. Okay. When I hear that, so I told my staff, I say, then I feel that I should talk to this person, this patient in person to clarify the issue. So I asked my staff, say, page me when patient arrive, do not let them leave. Just like every time he would come in and he signed in and he left. Okay, I said, do not let him leave. Page me and I'll come right away. Okay, and so next time my staff did that. They paged him and I came immediately. So I asked the patient, I say, why? Why you came but not staying to see the doctor? And do you know what this patient say? He say, I did not want people thinking that I am late for my appointment. So I usually double park my car on the street. I think you all know what is a double park mean, right? Yeah, there's no parking space. So he just have to park on the street, put in his blinking light, emergency light, okay? And he run into the hospital and sign in a sign-in book. So he did that. He says, so people know that I have arrived on time. Okay, I'm here on time. Then he said, then I have to go back to my car. I need to move my car. And I circle around the street to find parking space. He said, however, if I cannot find any parking space, I have to leave because I could not afford it to pay parking. Now the truth come out. That's exactly what happened. Okay. So I told him, I say, what if I pay for your parking? Will you stay? And he said, of course. So I pay for his parking that one day. Meanwhile, I refer him to see our social worker to see if we can give him a parking voucher every time he came. All right. And so because of that, he never missed his appointment again. And he was never be labeled as a non-compliant patient. So problem solved, right? So the point of this story is about what? Curiosity. As a scientist, as a physician, do you have enough curiosity? Can you read between words and pick out something is not right, something does not fit, and move forward and dig deeper? Okay, and so when I think about word curiosity, there's the top 5 synonyms come up to my mind. Okay, such as inquisitiveness, inquiring mind, a questioning mind, questioning, or thirst for knowledge. Those are all curiosity. And in short, are you always or have the habit to ask why, ask what, and ask how? That's a curiosity. I'll give you another example. This is, again, true story. Okay. I'm the nephrologist. So when 1 month I was serving in a hospital, so kidney team, my team, we were consulted by a patient in medical ICU with worsening kidney function. And after collecting information, my fellow presented the case to me. So he told me the fellow has established, based on the information he collected, that this patient, the reason worsening kidney function is due to acute kidney injury, AKI. So my fellow successfully established why this patient has a worsening kidney function, because acute kidney injury. So he followed by able to establish a case that the AKI is due to acute tubular necrosis, ATN. So he also established what caused AKI. So then he stopped there. But then I asked him, he said, so what caused this patient's ATN? That means how ATN happened. How does ATN happen? Right? And the answer fellow give it to me is, oh, I don't know. And so this means this fellow had an incomplete workup. He stopped at why and what, but he did not pursue how. Okay, and that doesn't help anybody, include helping patient. Okay, and I end up for this is a true case. End up after fellow, I spend additional 2 hours. I look at patient's operating room record. I look at the recovery room record. I talk to the nurses after he returned to his room, ICU room, and I collected enough data. I have a good explanation why this patient developed ATN, and that's how. Okay, so talking about curiosity, if you lack of curiosity in medicine, it may delay patient care. But this is case. Okay, you know, you can tell people, say, oh, this is an AKI due to ATN, but when you don't know what caused ATN, how do we treat patient? Okay, in science, it may delay your progress and advancement. So keep that in mind. Always have a question in mind, and stay alert and stay curious. Okay, the next element I want to talk about is the art of communication. Okay, these pictures looks familiar to you. The top one, this is in New York City, New York street vendor. During the lunch time, everybody in the office walked out buying lunch on the street vendor. And did you notice something? Nobody's looking at each other. Everybody's staring at their cell phone. Okay. The photo next one is a husband and wife went out to restaurant to eat, but they are talking. They're talking on cell phone. They don't look at them. They look at each other. Okay. And another example, is when you drive. I'm sure all of you drive, or majority of you. When you drive, when you need to turn, you give signal signs, correct? I hope you do. If you don't, you're not a good driver. Okay, I hope you do, right? And what does it mean when you give a signal signs? That means you're telling people behind you or in front of you about your intent, right? I'm intended to turn right. So people know your intent and they will prepare, right? That's a communication. Even when you're driving, put in signal signs, you are already communicating with the people, driver in front of you or behind you. So in pursuing science and medicine, equally important. Good communication skills are essential, both in speaking and writing. All right. I apologize to say that the younger generation are very good at talking to machine. You guys are staring at the computer, look at the software, using cell phone, very good about talking to each other through text message, all right? Facebook, whatever, the social media. But you may not good at talking to real person. But in science and in medicine, is essential. I use the word essential. It's essential to be able to know how to communicate, right? How to talk to people and in speaking and writing. And I use the word articulating. That's one level further. Okay. All right. So this is one of my favorite quotes, written by Robert F. Kennedy. He's a brother of American President JFK, John F. Kennedy. Okay, he say there are those who look at things the way they are and ask why. And I dream of things that never were and ask why not. I'll give an example. Okay, this is a book called Double Helix, written by Dr. James Watson. I think you all know Dr. James Watson is one of the two people who discover the structure double helix for DNA. They both subsequently received Nobel Prize, correct? And Dr. James Watson, written in one of his books, he defined housekeeping genes. And in his definition, housekeeping genes is those genes that are always expressed in every tissue. And what's the function is to maintain cellular function. This is a Dr. Watson's definition. Okay. However, in later day, people started to misunderstand and misunderstood or misuse the definition. And in later days, everybody, when we talk about housekeeping genes, everybody believe housekeeping gene means a set of genes that has constant expression levels in all tissues. Okay, until 2001, I started involved into genomic research after I joined Harvard. And during that period of time, I used a DNA microarray analysis. I identified a set of 451 housekeeping genes in human, for which I use Dr. Watson's definition, meaning always expressed in every tissue. Know that I use his definition. I did not use the current understanding of housekeeping gene is constant expression level, and which resulted in what? I use only housekeeping gene. Housekeeping gene alone, I was able to distinguish brain from kidney, from lung, from liver. I don't need a brain gene. I don't need kidney gene. I don't need liver gene. I use a housekeeping gene and able to tell me different organ, different tissues. So this paper was published in 2001. Okay, and subsequently, people named this set of 451 genes I identified as Hsiao's housekeeping gene. Pretty cool, huh? I have a set of my own gene. Okay, Hsiao's housekeeping gene. And follow up, this is one of my master degree students who used this set of housekeeping gene, 451 gene, able to distinguish normal lung tissue to lung cancer. Further is in various lung cancers, the diagnosis and prognosis. Housekeeping gene alone, we don't need lung specific gene or lung cancer gene, just housekeeping gene alone. Okay, so again, I want to remind you, there are those who look at things the way they are and ask why. Okay, but are you brave enough to ask why not when there's no one before you to set an example for you? And you ask why not? Okay. Okay. So another important element that I consider to build your career in the future is mentorship. I'll give it in a couple, one example. Okay, so a definition of good mentor is someone has your interest at heart. It's not his interest or her interest. It's yours, your interest at heart. Okay. Who is a good listener, who listen to you, does not talk to you, say you should do this, you should do that. No, that person needs to learn to listen to you, see what you like. Okay. And that person does not always tell you what to do, but instead is offer you alternatives, right? And that person now provide you resources, and that's a good mentor. Okay. And another thing I wanted to remind you is everyone needs mentor or mentors. You mentor does not mean you only need one mentor. One person need many, many mentors, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And you also need to remember everyone should serve as a mentor. Okay, this we call a hierarchical mentorship. Okay, here is a high school will be mentored by college student, college student mentored by medical student mentored by faculties, and this is called hierarchical mentorship. So you can be a mentor to someone as well. Okay, remember that. Okay, so this is an example of having a access to mentor. Okay, one of my mentors is a Dr. Joanne Ingwar. Okay, when I first met her, she was a vice president of faculty affairs at Brigham and Women's Hospital, Harvard Medical School. What does it mean by faculty affairs? Meaning in charge of people's promotion. Okay, to make a story short, she is the one. She encouraged me to embrace my ethnic background of being an Asian. Okay, nowadays everybody's so afraid, particularly in the United States. Okay, everybody's so afraid talking about your ethnicity, right? You know, I'm a Chinese, I'm an Asian, I'm Black, I'm Spanish, right? Everybody's so careful about talking about that. But instead, back then, my mentor encouraged me to embrace my ethnic background of being an Asian, and encouraged me to integrate my passion. What's my passion? My passion is prevention. Okay, I wanted to do preventive medicine. And what do you know? What do you know about your passion? What is your passion? Think about that, right? But how does he know that? Because we talk, right? She's my mentor. We spend time from time to time and discuss about my interest, my passion. That's what mentor means. She listened to me, and that's what she told me. And because of that, resulted in I created a community outreach program called Kidney Disease Screening and Awareness Program, KDSAP. And this program designed intended to serving Asian community. Later on, we expanded to many underserved population. So-called underserved is those who does not have health care access, or they don't have insurance, or they don't speak English, they feel intimidated, they don't dare to come in the hospital to seek medical advice or care. And I create this program. We go to community, we provide care for them. Okay, and this is a KDSAP 2 branches, community outreach and in-campus activity. The in-campus activity, I create lots of opportunity to become a leadership for my student volunteers. Okay, and this is what we do. When we go to community, we provide blood pressure measurement, check a BMI, rule out obesity. We check urine. You can see the photo here. Make sure there's no proteinuria, no hematuria. We check glucose, make sure there's no diabetes. And at the end, we have a physician go over the result with community people. Okay, and because of the success of program, we now have 30 plus chapters now in United States, and we still expanding. And we now also have 2 chapters in Taiwan. Okay, in addition to that, the highest research institute in United States called National Institute of Health, NIDDK branch, which is kidney and diabetes branch. Okay, they modify their fellowship training grant by making community outreach a requirement, and that's the urge. After I give a talk at NIH, and I challenge them to do so. Okay, and American Society of Nephrology also ask us to teach them how to run KDSAP, and they include undergraduate students into their STAR program. Okay. In addition to that, NIH also inspired to start a summer research program targeting undergraduate students. And it's all started with the KDSAP. Okay. So there's other elements I consider important, such as the ability to form collaboration, meaning willing to work with others. Okay. By doing so, you need to look to know to have wisdom and ability to establish such collaboration with right people that require lots of wisdom and experiences. And this can be trained by your mentor. Okay. You also need to learn how to ask right questions. And when you do this, when you want to ask any questions, remind yourself to sit back and think before you act. Okay. Always, if you remind yourself all the time, by doing so, eventually you have the habit to ask more meaningful questions. Networking. Networking is know your ways in finding resources. Okay. And grant, you eventually, if anybody interested in staying in academic, you may need to show your willingness to write grant. And grant is meaning funding, right? Money. Okay. So this can, writing grant, twofold. One is improve your writing skills, your thinking process. And another purpose is grant is opportunity to be an independent scientist. You have your own money, can do research, you can do science the way you wanted to. All right. Yeah. Another thing I want to remind all of you is you need to be started from now, okay, managing your career like a businessman and businesswoman. What do I mean by that? Is keep your records, make every effort measurable, okay? You need to be well organized in your CV. What is your publication? Your abstract and paper, those are measurable. You make sure you arrange them well, okay? Writing and obtaining grants, okay, that's a measurable, okay? And another thing very important, if you don't have a CV by now, please start it, prepare your CV, okay? By the way, Harvard Medical School CV template is incredibly helpful. I encourage you get into online and go to Harvard Medical School website and see. I'm sure you will be able to download their template. Using that as a template, incredibly helpful. Okay, update your CV, your portfolio regularly. I tried earlier. I tried to incorporate one of the my CV as an example. The last time I updated my own CV is March 5th, 2025. So it's only about 2 weeks ago. So you see, at my level, I still remember to updating my CV on regular basis. Sometimes 3-4 times a month. Anything new, anything happen, I update it. Okay, my CV about 60 pages, but you should start it now. Okay. So I also want to remind everybody a path to excellence. How do you define success? And how do you define success? This is this this is not a trick question. I'm asking this question, and there's no standard answer. Think about what in your mind, what is so-called success for you. Okay, and for me, I like this one very much. It's written by Malcolm Gladwell. He wrote an article in 2008, long time ago, in Reader Digest, which is my favorite journal. Okay, he say success is not a function of individual talent. Instead, it is the steady accumulation of advantages. And what does it mean by advantages? It means a circle of friends and networking. All right, that's my definition. Okay, so the elements for a successful career in science and medicine started from knowing your own personality and your talents, right? And from there, think about, do you have passion and compassion? What is your motivation to do certain things? Okay. Do you have curiosity? And be prepared. There's going to be obstacles. Okay. And when that happens, do you have enough perseverance to overcome obstacles? Doing research, 90% of the time you may fail. Do you just give up? Or what do you do? Right? And are you willing to form collaboration? My opinion, you have to. You cannot do anything alone. That's my advice to you. Okay. And need to have ability to form networking, identify opportunities. Okay. You need mentors. And you need a communication skills, not just communication skill, good communication skills. And of course, it takes a lot, okay, to the end. All right. So in summary, like I say, be curious, very important. Be passionate and compassionate, okay? Willing to share. This is very important. Nowadays, a lot of people not willing to share. But I always tell my students, nothing wrong with sharing credit with other people. It's gonna go a long way. And be prepared to fail. Okay, 90% of the time, particularly in research. Okay, in medicine, yeah, prepare. You may fail, right? I mean, we physicians, we are not perfect. Okay, there's many. Often we will have to go to patient and their family say, "I don't know. I have no answer for you." Correct, right? So, in when that happen, you just cannot give up. You need to be perseverant. Okay, one of the English word I like it very much called research, and research means research. That means looking for answer over and over and over again, and that's mean research. Okay, yeah, and be humble. Okay, another word I like it very much is discover, and discover what it means is this cover. That means we do not create new things. We simply just uncover what have been there. Okay, even quote unquote, you discover something, nothing to be boast about it. Be humble because that thing's already there. It just happened you were the first person identify that. Okay, just remember that. And but most important thing is in life, you got to have fun. If you don't have fun, why you're doing that? Right? You got to have fun. All right. But I want to end my talk at one more thing, another thing I wanted to remind everybody, the power of listening. You are in the future, you are a physician or you are a scientist. Rule number one, started with listening. Listening to your patient, listening to their family, listening to scientists, listening to equally to your colleague, to your mentee, listening to patients, what they need. And then you can, based on that, you can design and you can ask. Remember what I say, ask an important question. And you can pursue that question. Why? Because that is the most important to whoever is telling you. So the power of listening. To me, everything I say so far, this is by far is, I believe, is one of the most important elements one should have, regardless you're going to be a physician or you're going to be a scientist. I'm going to end my talk here, and I thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this will inspire you to think about what you like to be and what kind of person you wanted to be in the future. And I hope truly this year when I go to Ukraine, September, I hope I get to meet some of you. Thank you very much. And I will leave my email to the organizer. If anybody have a question, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to address your question. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.